Hey, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully trading went well. Please let me know in the comments down below. Today is December 10th, 2025, and just sitting here looking at the afternoon market and the ORB scanner. Uh, we had actually, the scanner picked up a couple of good ones, and I was talking to somebody about the scanner. They're asking, how do I decide on what stocks I should really be focusing on, especially with my busy schedule. And really, I don't like to look at any more than two or three. I think once you start looking at a ton of them, you get very distracted, and sometimes you can miss a really big runner or something like that. For me, what I like to do is I really like to look at the daily volume. What is the daily volume for the stock itself? And that will kind of tell me a lot of where it's going and how well it's doing. Now, obviously, ones with only like 500,000 that you can look right here on the scran, it's up 51% on its orb. Today. It was the order price was 249 and it's currently at 378. So obviously that's a 58 or sorry 51% breakout on that, which is very well, and it's only a 500,000. But I really tried to like to focus on ones that's a lot higher than that for the daily volume. So jumping back into it, a couple of ones that I was looking at today. If I switch over to my trading view, obviously a big one here was BDRX. This is a very interesting one. When you look at it, it really just, I mean, it did have some good volume today, and it came up, and I didn't take this until later on. But once I actually was finally actually looking at it, I did notice I was about right here. I noticed it started a trend. And that's one thing that I also like to look at is where's the trend at? So if I draw this line right here, it has to break that trend. And it does break it for a minute, and then it keeps going down. And then what I also look at is for high lows and stuff like that. So you can see it kind of goes into a channel. You get very low volume when it's in that channel. I don't like to be on this, but then it breaks above the 90 EMA here, and then gives you several good opportunities. I know one of my previous videos I was talking about breakout, retest, breakout, and what I like to see on those, and you kind of actually see it right here on this, is I like to see a couple bull candles that comes up. Okay, there's my first break. And then what I like to see after that is I like to see it pull back down there. And then I like to see it break again. Looks like it didn't click. There it goes. And then I like to see it break above this previous high right here. So here's a good entry around 530 was a good one. I also like to look at where's my VWAP, where's my previous resistance here. And to me, previous resistance is still up here. So it still had a really good chance to fail. And actually, if I draw a straight line on this high, you can see you get a nice spike and it hits that VWAP and bam, it shoots it back down. Same thing, it tries again and gets shot back down. So that's a good indicator to be looking for right there. And then when it comes back up here, this if this would have continued going up, this would have been a good trade of breaking off the VWAP, but it doesn't hold it right there. Later on in the afternoon, instead it breaks down, and at that point, this is yet again one of the things that I'm looking for. It's where is it at? Is it going to break this trend? So then I just kind of keep an eye on here for the trend. You can see it breaks the trend yet again. I wait for it to break over the VWAP, which it finally does break over it, and then I wait for a retest. And then once it retests, then I'll actually consider it. Then I'll consider it as being a buy, in which it does actually do that. It comes, bounces off, and then it just kind of goes do. The volume does dry out right here, and then the volume picks up again. Okay, looking at here, you can actually see the volume does come in, and that's when it's a good breakout. So now what you look at here, actually, this has one of my trades because I ended up trading with my other broker on here for this nice little breakout because the volume was coming in massively. And so that's what I ended up looking at was, okay, it's right here, it came out, and I actually ended up taking this buy right here, expecting it to pull back, looking at the previous resistance right here. So it found some, I was looking at the support right here. And when it broke over that support, I was like, okay, I think it's going to hold right here. And then when it pulled back and it came back up, I actually added to my position because this is a good trade. Not only does it hit that support and comes back up, it goes in there. Now, unfortunately, so I ended up getting in, selling off a lot of my shares right up here towards the top. Actually, my indicator was right here around the L. And then I decided to get in a little bit more, thinking that with the pullback to the EMA9, it may continue going up. But then once I noticed this downtrend, developing right here, I noticed it was printing on this line. And so I just got out of my full position. I didn't want to carry over anything else just in case it did break down. As you can see, it does break down. So if you are looking into getting into something like this, you may want to see if this is going to put in some higher lows, some lower some lower highs. You may want it to do something like this. So and it looks like it is starting to go that way, which is good. So once it breaks this and it can hold this, that may be a good time to get in. And it looks like it did do a VWAP bounce, which is really good. I personally will still wait until it comes above the EMA9. So that's really my review on the BDRX. A few other ones I was looking at today was well, Duo right here, this is a good example where you can have a lot of volume coming in, which I was like, okay, it looks like it's starting to pick up. And so I put in my buy right here around 245. And as you notice, it pulls back and then just kind of goes sideways. And so it never really actually breaks that ORB high right here. And since it didn't break the ORB high, I didn't get it. It kept it away. And actually, as soon as I started seeing this volume die out this bad, I just canceled my order, didn't even want to view it. And so I knocked it off. So I put this on here just to indicate that on DUIO is a good example of when there is no volume. You really don't want to be it because you don't know what it's going to do. It's choppy. It takes forever to fill your orders. And so this is a good indicator right here of what can happen in stocks. Another one that I was looking at today was BET. This is the exact same example that I had earlier. I came in on this because it had good volume. As you can see, it has great volume up here, 231 million traded today. But it's never able to actually hit that ORB high. And since it can't meet that ORB high, that's why it's no trade for me. Because that is my strategy. My strategy is ORB high. When it hits ORB high, I'll trade it. And you can see right here, it does actually, the trend comes down. Trend hits here, comes down, and then it has to break it. Okay. Which it does start to break it, but then after it pulls up, it comes back down, pulls up, comes back down. The volume just becomes short. It's nothing. So I just really don't watch it. And then you can see it's below the VWAP, so it's off my radar at that point until it breaks above VWAP again, which as you can see, there's a nice bounce right here. that you could have possibly taken. If you like the VWAP bounce, it's about, about 10-15 cent bounce if you would have gotten in at the opportune moment. But yet again, with the VWAP, I wait until it breaks above, retest the EMA9, and so my entry on this would have been about 139 when it broke above this previous high on these two bull candles. As you can see, it's, as long as it's holding this EMA9, it's a good trade. And one thing about looking at history, why I like to have two EMAs, because it kind of really aligns it for me. The other one I like to take is the 21. So I like to look at the average of the last 21 candles and the last 9 candles to see where it's at. And you can see whether it's, sometimes it'll support on the 21, but it'd be breaking the 9, so I'll set my levels at those points. But yet again, I mean, it's still far from that orb. So BEAT is not a trade for me today. So the next one I was looking at that that was actually very choppy, and it actually got me over here. I wasn't paying. I just set up the auto trade on there, and it broke above it and then pulled down, which is unfortunate. But as you can see, if I would have just stuck it out, I would have been able to trade. But I broke my trade plan. Typically, my trade plan is to get in, basically, if it hit the one here, considering it's already extended above the VWAP, my trade plan would have been to get out when it hit the VWAP. But depending on where the VWAP is, if it's way above, way below, based off my EMA9, it would have been at the low of this. But unfortunately, fear got me. I just seen it go up, came back down, and I was like, nope. Right after the system got me in, I just canceled my order. But I should probably stayed in, because I would have been looking at, let's see, I got in around 416. Yeah, that would have been 50 cents off of there. So this would have been probably around, before fees and everything like that with my brokerage, this would have been probably about a $500 trade for me just on this one. Due to the size, I would have probably bought in somewhere around 1,000 shares. Is typically about my average for this amount. And how I base that off of is, first off, my account size. Second off, what is my risk from my orb high to orb low? How big is that? And I typically like to only lose, an X amount of day. That's part of my trading plan is, per stock, I only want to lose X amount of dollars. Per day, I only want to lose X amount of dollars. If I hit any of those, I stop trading, and then I just walk away from the charts. So luckily, I didn't hit my limit, but I did, kind of walk away, just kind of keep an eye on this to see where AHT was. And I'm glad to see that it's actually doing well. Yeah, I'm kicking myself a little bit that I could have made some decent money on it on just one trade, but that's trading for you. You win some, you lose some. You just gotta lick your wounds and walk away. Hopefully, these reviews help you guys. If you guys think it's helpful, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe, so you get the latest and greatest videos. I'm trying to do this every day for you. If you guys are kind of curious and want to know more about the program, the trading styles, or just general education videos, please feel free to visit my website at greenhorizontrade.com. I have a lot of useful information on there that's actually just free. You don't have to really sign up for anything. You can just browse the website. I'm trying to upload new content to that once or twice a week for you guys, just to grow the knowledge, because you really do need a lot of knowledge for trading to be very successful. You got to grow that bank first before you can grow your actual bank account. So please feel free to join that. Yet again, like, subscribe, and visit my website. Thank you. Bye.